Hello guys, we're working with the table, and in this video we are going to create this at the end of the video. This is going to be the result. I really hope you enjoy it. I have to tell you a few things before we start create this. So let's start. First, this is the result of the last video, and something I did is I renamed these objects. As usual, we want to have a really clean outliner, and this is a really good way to do it. Okay, and yeah, about this coffee cup and the spoon and that, something really good is that you always, before start creating something, is you get a really clear and good reference of what you are going to be doing. In this case, I didn't search for an image in Google as I usually could do, or as I usually do, or in Flickr or whatever. In this case, what I did is I used blend swap, and I found a blend that is really good, really useful. It's called break time. Okay, and the creator of the blend is called J Artist. You can search that in blend swap. That's a really good reference, and really good. That's a really good file with blend. You could use it because that's blend swap for, but remember, we're learning, and in this case, of course, we're going to create it. We're just not going to link it or append from another file. And I think that's basically we're going to start with what we should be doing. Okay, by the way, thank you so much, Jay. Really useful. Okay, now we're going to start. I activate the third layer. We're going to be modeling in this layer. Okay, first we're going to be using subdivision surface, and we are not going to, this is a bezier. I want a circle. Okay, we will be using subdivision surface, so we are not going to be needing, we don't need that much vertices. We will need like 16. It's going to be enough. If you want, you can use even less than this. I think you could do like 12, but this is a really good number. It's not that high, it's not that low. Okay, now of course we're going to scale this, and we're going to scale it like 0.025, I guess. Okay, we're going to extrude this in Z-axis, and you know what, we're going to be working just with this. I don't want the table and the books because they are really not necessary as a reference or something. Extrude and scale it to 0. Well, you could do it different, but anyway, because I'm going to extrude again and scale, and I'm going to extrude again like here, and I remove levels. Okay, now this is going to be hold on, we're going to extrude this, and we're going to scale it at least 2.56. I'm going to use a 6, and I'm going to move this along z-axis like this. Okay, and yeah, we're going to start working from this. I'm going to extrude this again, move it in z-axis, scale it, not too much. I'm going to add a lob cut, scale it, and move it in z-axis. Maybe it's too much. Okay, like this. Like this is fine. Okay, now I'm going to select this loop, extrude, z-axis, and we're going to, of course this is looking really bad, we're going to scale it. Maybe like this. Again, we're going to extrude this, z-axis, extrude, scale, 0, remove doubles. Okay, this is a good beginning. We're going to be adding lob cuts in here because we are going to create some curves. Okay, we don't want this like planar. Okay, like this. Maybe too much. Like that. And we're going to add lob cuts in here too. We're going to move them with edge slide just to make it match. It should not be perfect. It's not that necessary. You could do it if you want. Something I used to do with blends is that with my modeling, I spend too much time with things that are completely not necessary. And of course we would like to be doing something with all the detail and things like that, but you know what they say, time is money, and sometimes this is the normals. We're going to fix it with Control N. Okay, sometimes you will need, or sometimes not, I mean almost all the time we're going to need a fast production. And if you are working as a freelancer or for a company, it doesn't matter, because you will always need to to do your job as fast as you can. Remember to don't make things harder than they are. We're adding lob cuts. I'm adding lob cuts already because we're almost done. We have the shape we want, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding the subdivision surface. And yeah, to keep the shape, we need to add these beauty lob cuts. There is something with shift. Let me shift E. Yeah, shift E, which is called edge crease. That's funny. You could try it sometime with subdivision surface and edge crease. You will get an interesting result, but not what we want. this time. Okay, I have found something that I don't like with this. I like how it's looking here, but this I want it to be deeper. Okay, and that's easy to fix. For example, this is not going to be visible, never. Okay, because of the table, of course. So I'm going to move the vertex in Z-axis. Well, the top part is never going to be visible either. Okay, at least it's looking better. Okay, here we are. This is the beginning. That's how things start. And it's touching really nice the table, because we had the cursor just in the top of the table, and that's what we usually want. Okay, now to create the cup, we're going to create it, or at least I will create it from what I have created, and I usually work that way. I know I have told you that a few times before, but I don't know if people do it other way and it's better. I just have no idea. You could tell me how you do it, maybe the comments. Okay, I have found something that I don't really enjoy. I found it's weird. This should be matching, and probably I scale this shift C axis. I should scale it shift C axis, and there it is. I would like to fix this, but honestly, it's just not necessary. Maybe I will do it, but out of video or something like that, just because of the blend you are going to be downloading. But okay, now to create this, what I'm gonna do, or what we are going to be doing, is we're going to extrude this, and we want to know where is going to be the end of the cup. Maybe that's too much. Maybe we could use it like this. Okay, third layer, and we will rename this later. I'm going to add lob cuts. For example, I want a lob cut here, and this here. Scale them in Z-axis, not too much, and I'm going to add another lob cut right here. Let me see. Well, yeah, let's see. Okay, we're going to scale this shift C axis, I'm going to add another lob cut here, and I'm going to move this just a little right here. Okay, you know what, maybe like this. I'm going to scale this just a little, and move this right here and scale it just a little. Okay, now I'm going to hide this thing. Whoa. Okay, that's my fault. I should be scaling this lab, and if you have downloaded the blend from BlendShop, my reference, you will notice that what I'm doing is a little different, and we should stroke this and scale it. You will notice that what we are doing here is a little different. Is a little different. It is really different, but it's because you can change things if they are, of course, looking how they are in real life. I have changed few things, but of course I just cannot change, for example, I don't know, proportions or something like that. I'm just changing the kind of cup. I hope that's making sense for you. Maybe I'm not being too specific, but let me tell you guys that this is looking good. I know I used to say that a lot, but hey, if you're doing a good job, you should know it, huh? Okay, let me see. I want to know if I want to change something before continue, but honestly I think this is looking the way we want. We're going to add thickness, okay? There's really important. I think I never create an object without thickness. I mean, at least I use Solidify or something like that. Oh, by the way, I found an add-on Google Plus, which is called Mesh Offset, and I really like the way it is working. If you want to try something, if you want to learn maybe something new today, you could try that. Mesh Offset. I don't even know if that is in Wikipedia or something, or Blender Artist, because I found it in Google Plus. So really good for architectural things, and add some thickness to the objects. Really good option. Maybe I could add a link to that add-on on the below of this video. Maybe. Okay, we have created some thickness, and you will notice that you see a lot of lines there, and you know that I usually work with this, but it's kind of necessary when you're working with things that are really little. Okay, and well, we will need add some lab cuts because we're going to be using subdivision surface with this object. Okay, I'm going to move this in Z-axis just a little, and you feel free to create a cup. Okay, as I told you, for example, I modified the cup from the reference I get, not too much. It's just a different cup. You just get the idea how to create this, and that's the important thing, you know. Okay, let me check if this is looking the way we want. For example, you could get a reference from this with a cup and that you have in your own cups in your house or in a coffee shop or whatever. This is going to be like a big cup of coffee, and honestly I think that we are in the good way. And there is this that I usually do. You may notice I like to have the pivot point and those things usually when the object is touching the other. In that way is really easy to modify them. You know, if you want to scale it, for example, and things like that, is always touching the other. I found it really useful in my experience. But if you have found different things and are working for you, use them. Okay, I really think that we are with this coffee cup. Of course, you will notice that we are missing something, and we're going to start creating this, but just give me a chance. I want to modify just a few things in here before adding some detail to this. Why I'm moving these lap cuts? Because we're going to be using these faces to add some detail to the cup, and you cannot do it if you have the proportion of this face like this. Okay, you just can't. Okay, just checking. That's good. If you are modifying objects without solidify, and you did it by hand as am I doing it, and you are changing, for example, moving this and that, it's a good idea to always have in mind that you should be moving the laps inside. Okay, just as a tip, because in this way you will notice that they are matching But if you start moving and moving and moving, then you're going to get a mess with the mesh, and we never want to do that. It's not so big deal, but it's harder to work with that. You see all that mess. For example, I don't like to work with this. I see all those vertices everywhere. At least that's how I do it. If you feel comfortable, okay, of course you can do whatever you want. Okay, we're going to start by saving, extruding and scaling these faces. Okay, extruding and scaling. Okay, another thing, we're going to be using the orientation from normal, and you can see this is looking like weird. We're going to fix the direction of the normals with Control N, and well, this is looking still weird, but you notice that it changed. And why we do that is because now you see that with the normals they are working pretty well. You see? Okay. For example, if I flip the normal, this is going to be looking like weird, things like that. Okay. First, I'm going to extrude the face, and I don't want to work with surface right now. Okay. Okay. Extrude this. Hold on, I'm going to do it again. Okay. Now I'm going to select this edge. Just a little more. Okay, and you will notice with the top view how the normals are working. So I'm going to move this just like this. Of course you can modify it later. Just checking. Okay, and moving the edges. For example, with this face that we're going to be extruding. Okay, for example this, I'm going to move it really much like that, and this one I'm going to move it too, just like that, and we're going to create something like this so you can hold the cup. Okay. No sprinkles, huh? Okay. Now this is not getting the direction I want. The direction we want. Okay. I'm going to extrude this, okay, and rotate it with the normal direction. You can see I want to move this just a little. I'm going to rotate this with the Y normal, so you have to press twice Y. That's how it will work. Okay, I'm going to extrude again, rotating Y normal axis. I'm going to move it, extrude, rotate in Y axis. This time I'm going to move it in Z axis, and hold on, it's not looking the way we want. Okay, this is not exactly what we want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify it later. I'm just moving this, and then you can select the edge loop and move it with edge slide. For example, I want to move this, and this face I'm going to extrude it like that, and I'm going to extrude it again, move it maybe like that. Let me see, rotate along Y normal axis, and maybe we can use bridge and see. So we're going to be using subdivision surface, and okay, yeah, it's looking good, but I have to change these things a little. Okay, now we are talking the same language. For example, guys, I think okay, this is another detail, but this is really really easy to fix. You will notice that this is not a line. That's with painting. We're not going to be using that. Okay, I'm going to select the loop, and we're going to deselect half and scale it in C normal axis to 0, and again, but this time the other side, scale C normal axis to 0, and okay, there it is. Now I'm going to enable subdivision surface again. Maybe we're going to get some things that we don't like, but okay, yeah, indeed, but don't worry, you can fix them. For example, a lot of things, so let's work. There are a lot of things that are not looking the way we want. For example, like what? Okay, well, we are going to scale this, but this is not getting the shape we want. Okay, hold on. It's not looking bad, but we have to work with this. For example, I'm going to add a lap cut, or maybe two, let me see, just one, right in the middle. Okay, for example, this is so thin, and we don't like that because it's just not looking like in here, which is a thicker part. Okay, now let me see. I want to scale this, but I'm having a trouble, and the thing is, he's doing this mess with me about the direction with normal, so that's not the way to select. select these faces. Yeah, you see, and right now I don't remember the reason of this. Let me see, scale. You see, it's not the direction of the normals, and just give me a second. Oh, it's that easy. You just scale this. Shift C axis is scaling the way you want. Well, I have another way to do that, which I don't remember right now, but well, I have found something. You can scale this Shift C axis and it is going to be working really good, just like the way you want. The only thing is that, oh no, scale Shift C axis, but this is moving. Well, just because right now I don't remember really good how it was. Now you know what, I just cannot do that. Hold on, I will remember just in a second. Here is our cup, coffee cup, and I want to add I want to change this curve just a little. Okay, we like the way this is looking like. All we need is to create this or change this, because right now, okay, this part is thinner. Okay, maybe we can add block cuts, like for example here. Hold on. Okay, and it is going to be looking better. Just as I told you, remember, we're going to be really far from this object, and maybe you won't be able to see every detail here. So once you get the result you want, and once you get the result you want, you should not get all those details. Remember, the objects near to the camera are the important ones. Really, the other are, well, in a second you'll see I have the direction of the normals, and I could scale this along X normal axis, but I need to add, okay, I could add this. Let me see if I add this, what happened. Oh, maybe not all of this, maybe just these phases, and I screw it. Yeah, those are the phases that are. Let me see what happened if I scale this without those phases. Scale x-axis normal. Okay, but it's working good. At least that's what I think. Let me check. Oh yeah, scale XX. Okay, just hold on. Let me check something. Maybe. Okay, there it is. Oof. So I guess that these faces are not getting troubles. No, they are not creating a problem. Okay, guys. Maybe I could scale this in Z-axis. I don't know. Maybe I could tweak this and that after recording, I mean out of video. And yeah, okay, we have to start creating the spoon. Okay, and with this object we're going to be using again surface subdivision. So, well, we're going to start with a circle, but another huge circle, and of course this is a really, again, huge number. We don't want that much. We could be using like 8 or 12. Let me see, 8, I don't know. Sorry, maybe we could be using 12. Not too much. 8. Sorry. Okay, now of course this is not proportional. Okay, we're going to scale this circle like 0.01, and we're going to start working with this. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to scale this in y-axis like that, scale this global again, scale this in y-axis, extrude and scale, extrude and scale, maybe just extrude, scale to 0 and remove doubles. Okay, now if I extrude this, now you know guys, this is ridiculous. I cannot work with 8, 12. Sorry. Scale .01, edit mode, vertex, and scale it in y-axis. Okay. Like this. This is boom. We could change this later. For now, we're going to extrude and scale, extrude and scale, extrude and scale. Removing doubles, and I'm going to move this Z-axis what I did is Ctrl plus, Ctrl minus to change the selection. Remember. Okay, maybe like that. Sorry, I was using shift and I by mistake. Okay, this is what we are going to be working with for now. Now we're going to extrude this x-axis maybe like this. We're going to add this lap cut, scale it, y-axis, scale this in x-axis, and maybe I'm going to scale this like this, scale it y like this, scale it in y just a little, extrude again, x-axis, scale it in y, extrude x. I'm going to scale this to 0, scale it in y, extrude this in x-axis again, scale in y, and one last time, which is going to be, well, you maybe are thinking, or you're wondering, really, that's your spoon? Well, we're going to be working with this few things before anything. We're going to move this vertex along z-axis. Remember, guys, few things. You could download this blend. You can download it from Blend Swap and give some feedback to Jay, by the way. You could do that, but if you are learning, I don't recommend you to do that. If you are learning and if you are in that process, you should be doing all this stuff by yourself. You get experience, you know what to do and what not to do. And of course, if you're watching a video tutorial, you're learning. You need to learn something, or you're searching for something. Okay, now there are a few things that we are not happy at all. For example, I'm going to move this vertex just a little. I'm going to be using the cursor here. I'm going to scale all these faces right here, and I'm going to scale in z-axis. From cursor, I'm going to rotate them. Scaling in z-axis. Okay, before doing that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move some vertex in x-axis and add some tail. Even with this is going to be really little in the scene, and maybe, well, indeed this is just a detail. You don't want this to be ugly, okay? When people watch the render and say, or be thinking, oh, such a good rendering, that spoon's looking so weird, it's not looking real. You don't want to screw up your render with that kind of feedback. Of course, if you have a really excuse me, if you have too much time to work with your blends, you could spend so much time with this spoon that I am working, that the time I'm spending with this, you can get another reference, not just the blend that I recommend you. You could get a lot of image in the web, or just look at your spoons at home, or things like that. But yeah, it's a really good habit Really, guys, a really good habit to be watching references before creating. And another really good habit is to to think how you're going to be creating your project, and before you start creating all these things that you know how you're gonna do it, and which techniques you're going to be using, and all that stuff is a really good habit. Okay, so remember those things when you're modeling something. Get a really good reference image before you start creating all those things. Think how you're going to be doing. Don't just start modeling things without without check this out. Control N, and whoa, this is too much, and this is still too much. Maybe if I apply, whoa, no, I don't know, 0.1 millimeter. Whoa, that's micro. I don't even know how this works. 0.5 millimeters. 0.5 is too much. Dot. Okay, that's a good thickness. I was telling you something, I just forgot it about. But yeah, guys, you should know uh, how you're going to be modeling and those stuff. If you're going to be using an array or what. If you're going to be using subdivision surface, or if you are not going to be using it. Okay, guys, this spoon is looking well. If you download the reference from BlendSwap, you will notice that J work with this in a really good way, and yeah, if you feel that am I missing something that Jay did, of course do it, because all you have to know which techniques to use and which don't. But as I told you before, guys, just don't be copying every single movement I'm doing, because really I did that for a time. I was doing it, and you get nothing. Really, you get nothing. You get a good result because you were copying every single movement of the tutorial, but you don't get the information you want, the information you have to learn. Okay, so please pay attention to the techniques. Okay, don't be copying every single moment. Okay, I'm going to save this, and I could do a backup of this spoon, or anything before applying this solidify, because now I'm going to add lap cuts and subdivision surface and smooth. Okay, and this is looking okay. I need a lap cut there. But yeah, oh, this is so little. I'm going to scale this. Optimal display, something I really like to be using always. Well, guys, I know this is being a long trip from the beginning. I don't even know if you can do it in a row, if that's the sentence I should be using. But I really hope you guys enjoy this. I really hope you learn something. As usual, if I press Alt R, I will get a clean rotation, and I'm going to apply rotation and scale to this object, because if I scale it and I don't like it, and didn't like this scale, I think I'm going to apply scale. But I want a clear rotation. For example, if I want to rotate it, if I rotate this and I don't like it, get the original is really hard. So all you have to do is Alt R and you get a clean rotation. Really good tip for you. But yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoy. You have learned something. If you have something, you have any critique, feel free to say it, because I know you can create objects in a lot of different ways. There are lots of different ways to model, and maybe you have an easier way to create this, and I don't know it. And feel free to critique, to say. So yeah, guys, that's all for this video. All I'm going to be doing is rename. Really simple names. I don't know, dish or something like that, or blade, I don't know. I'm going to be using dish. Okay, that's all for this tutorial, guys. I really hope you didn't get bored during this video. But well, see you guys.